GAUR Gopal Das reaction time.
Request.
Wow, that's so powerful.
My mom said, "Son, is your dad a single word with him for 2 years?"
That is, I love the transparency here by GAUR Gopal Das.
Just before I came
To present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish. And today, I'll be responding to GAUR Gopal Das's video on watch this if you want to say sorry to someone. My name is Vish, and I'm an aspiring yogi, love all things meditation, yoga, and wisdom based. And this is the first GAUR Gopal Das video I'm reacting to. I've seen him here and there, really haven't seen his full videos. He does seem to have a very humorous type of vibe to him. Before we continue, what are your thoughts on saying sorry? Is that something you do? Do you not do it? And regardless of what you pick, we'd love to hear why. Also comment down below. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and that like button, it would mean a lot for the channel and I'd be super grateful. With that, let's get into the video.
in the year 2009, my father passed away. He was a patient of Parkinson's disease. Suddenly one morning, I just got a call from my mother saying he's gone. I remember when I was in university, for 2 years, I did not speak a single word to my father. We had some differences of opinion.
Wow.
Loving father, so upset with him. I did not speak a single word with him for 2 years.
That is, I love the transparency here by GAUR Gopal Das.
Just before I came to the Hare Krishna movement and joined the monastery, just a couple of months before that, my father came and fell at my feet, putting his head on my feet, crying and begging, "Son, please, speak to me." I remember ignoring that request.
Wow, that's so powerful.
My mom said, "Son, is your dad, don't do that to him."
Yeah, right? I mean,
And just because my mother said,
wow.
I started talking to him. And in a couple of
Shouts out
weeks,
to the mom.
I left home to become a monk just after I started talking to him. Every single year, from the year 1996 until 2009, I went home to see my parents. And I wanted to say, "Sorry, Dad, I shouldn't have done this to you." And whenever I went home, there's this 3-lettered word called ego that told me,
Yes.
"You are right. Why do you have to say sorry?"
Oh, yes.
I remember
Ego.
that word ego.
This, wow, I love this way of narration and, I guess with GAUR Gopal Das, again, he hasn't really, gotten to the point of the story yet, but I love the way how he's narrating through a story and making that very, captivating, because I'm pretty captivated too, just using stories in general, especially if you make it interesting and emotional, which is the way that GAUR Gopal Das is doing it right now. I think it really makes you want to hear more and just learn about it, regardless of what the moral is. So I'm loving this format of speaking, and he's also pretty well spoken. I think he's based out of India. Didn't know he was in the Hare Krishna movement either. But regardless, loving this so far. I can resonate quite a bit in certain areas of this ego. I mean, I'm sure it's something we can all relate to. But let's get back into it.
I just couldn't say it. That morning, when I received a call from my mom, when my father had left, even in the year 2009, just before coming here to England, I'd gone to see my dad thinking I'll say sorry. I didn't. And he had really turned very, very much appreciative of the work that I did, was asking for the recordings of my talks and all of that stuff. And I got back from England, and in just a month's time, I received this phone call. He was gone. I went for the funeral. I remember putting my head at my dad's feet for the one final time, dropping a few unseen tears who nobody would ever know until I told the story to you.
Full circle here, I think.
And with those tears saying,
I'm sorry.
"Dad, I'm sorry.
Powerful, man. Wow.
I shouldn't have done this to you. I shouldn't have done this to you." You never know how long people are with us. And you cannot
Never do.
take a
Never
chance
know.
to mess up with the most amazing experiences of love just because something happened.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, forgiveness is the foundation
That's it.
of a meaningful, deep
Forgiveness,
True.
key.
relationship. To let go if somebody has hurt us, and to say a sorry if we have hurt somebody. And letting things go is what makes relationships profound, meaningful, and deep. Which is why I say, when you say a sorry, it doesn't mean that you are wrong. It just means that you value the person and the relationship more than being right. You have
Beautiful.
to choose. What do
Beautiful,
you want?
beautiful.
Being right or love? And if you want love, sometimes you have to say sorry, even if you are right.
Let's talk about it. That was a very moving story, and I'm super, super grateful to have come across GAUR Gopal Das. This was beautiful. And before we proceed, would love to hear what you thought of the story of this sorry and forgiveness and the dad. And can you relate to that at all in any way possible? I always love transparency and openness and expression, so comment down any of those points down below. But beautiful, beautiful, short yet powerful story again by GAUR Gopal Das. Hopefully I'm saying that right. If I'm not, comment down below. I do have Indian background, so I think I'm pretty decent at pronouncing things, whether it's Sadhguru, for example, or whatever. Vishnu, Shiva, whatever, you get the point. But GAUR Gopal Das, I think I said that right. But anyways, I love it. I love the way he talked about it. I love the way he was pretty brief with the story, no extra added verbiage. Really straight to the point, but in a very story, emotional-based method. So powerful stuff. Again, super grateful to have come across him. And yeah, sorry, it's so interesting. I think this is where the word ego, it's just recurring, right? I think it's super prevalent here, and it's super essential as well for us to just have the awareness of. Ego, sorry, and forgiveness. I think these are the three key words that I really just connected with from the video. Let's start with ego. You see, ego itself, I don't think ego is a bad or good thing. Obviously, anything of excess may not be the best, so any ego with excess is not the best. But ego to me really just comes down to a false sense of self, and that's what it means to me. Would love to hear what you think of the word ego in the comments down below. What does it mean to you? So it's just a false sense of self, right? So we all have egos when we do certain things. We have an ego when we're at work. We have an ego when we're at home. You could be a pleasant person in both scenarios, but you still have a slightly different ego. So having an ego doesn't mean that you're a bad person. At least I don't think it does. So the way he described ego definitely came, I guess, from the traditional standpoint of ego, which I would say is mostly viewed as thinking that you're better, thinking that you're always right, thinking that you're, just the person, the person. And that's where I would have to say, with that understanding and definition of it, I would agree with it, but I don't think that conventional view is the way to go, because ego has a much deeper meaning. It's not as simple as just you being a proudful person. Now, with that being said, sorry. Sorry, again, it's a word I used to say quite a bit, maybe back when I was younger and a little bit more nervous and so on. And if I did something a little on the wrong side, I would say, hey, sorry this, sorry that. But then I came across Jay Shetty, and he actually had this beautiful perspective on sorry, which was, again, this is where I took it a bit more in the egoic way, which, again, I'd love to hear what you think about. Basically, sorry is, he says, instead of saying sorry, for example, let's say you're late. Instead of saying sorry, I was late, blah, 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 making up all these excuses, reframe that into saying, thank you so much for the patience. Make it more gratitude-oriented, which I started loving and vibing with. And long story short, I really stopped saying sorry. But then again, I realized not everyone connects with the thanking and gratitude. Sometimes you have to speak their language. Speak the language of sometimes the unconscious, and you have to use the unconscious words to speak to the unconscious and hopefully help them become more conscious. I'm not saying this out of egoic pride that you are the most conscious person and you have to make everyone else conscious, but just the example I'm making. So yeah, again, any sort of like identification to you should be this way or should not be that way, it's entanglement. Essentially, as Sadhguru says, you want to be absolutely involved. Don't be detached. Because detachment it'll just lead you to go crazy. Because if you're detached, how can you do anything with your 100%, right? So he says be involved, but be indiscriminately involved with everything you do. It's when we discriminate our involvement that leads to entanglement. So I'll only do this because I like it, won't give much attention to this, and we'll make it an ends to a means, as Eckhart Tolle says, and won't do much of that, or won't focus on it, give it my all. That leads to entanglement, and as Sadhguru again says, 80% of your spiritual progress can be completed if you just let go of your likes and dislikes. So yeah, quick points on that. But lastly, forgiveness. Again, I really think that's super powerful and super essential. And that's why I really respect and love this line from the Bible, actually. It's by Jesus while he's getting nailed on the cross. And he basically says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. I learned this from Eckhart Tolle, actually. While he's getting nailed on the cross, he's forgiving the people. He has the awareness. He could be enlightened too, I'm not sure if he was, but he has the awareness to realize they just don't know any better. And people really just don't know any better. So love GAUR Gopal Das's emphasis on forgiveness, and how he even mentioned how it's not even about you being wrong, it's just realizing that love is more important than being right. Very practical and I think more emotionally oriented words, but I connect with it and it makes sense. And yeah, super grateful for, again, just his video and you listening and watching to my reaction to it. If you have any other videos by GAUR Gopal Das that you want me to react to and just talk about, you can comment down below. If there are any other spiritual teachers or gurus, or just any topics in general or videos you want me to react to, because again, wisdom does incorporate everything, you can also comment down below. And again, if you've made it this far, we'd sincerely appreciate you hitting that like button as well as the subscribe button. Would mean a lot. And with that, make a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Ecstasy.